I've only got an hour, but it's perfect because I basically just wanted to show you one game that I
Okay.
think would be helpful for your chess development. Maybe a second game if we have time.
Okay.
Because I looked at your recent games from your tournament, and I guess I had some thoughts on like what you could work. I didn't look too carefully, so it's not like super insightful. But my basic feeling is that like you're pretty good on the tactical side, and that you could use some help on like the strategic side of things.
Yes, this definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And I saw a couple moments where I really felt like this won't really be related to our lesson, it's a separate thing, but I just want to mention it while I remember. It just felt like you weren't quite like anticipating your opponent's moves.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember one example. I'll use arrows for the chat, but there was one moment where like you go bishop b4 to c5, hitting the queen, and then the queen like slides over to g3 where it like wanted
I
to
was
go
so,
anyway.
yeah.
And you
As soon
were
as I played that move, yeah.
Yeah, so that was like one moment. It's like okay, even you realize like you're helping the opponent. And then there was another game where, let's say with white, you played h4 in the opening, but your king was still on e1 in the center.
Yeah.
And then your opponent broke with e5, which was a very strong move, kind of like get
Yeah.
counterplay. Or if you do you remember this game is the French game?
Yep. Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
And do you remember were you anticipating e5 like when you played h4, or did that move come as like a surprise?
It came as an afterthought, kind of.
Hmm.
Yeah. I should have castled first. I mean, yeah. Same thing. Like after I played H4, my opponent thought for a while, and while I was thinking, I was like, I should have castled first because I
Right.
don't know what to do after E5. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, your opponent finds it because, from their point of view, it's like, yeah, they're getting attacked, so they need to strike back. I apologize, we're not showing the position for her, but it's just more of like a general thing. So that might be like a kind of a strategic mistake of playing h4 before your castle, like attacking before you're fully developed. But I think if you, let's say, spent more time there, okay, thinking about like, okay, how's the opponent going to respond, or what would I do if I was black? Then you'd probably realize, oh, I'd strike back with e5, so maybe I should avoid this, and then you'd castle or do something
Yeah.
else.
I need to think more about my opponent's plan than just mine. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is like, one of the most important skills in chess, and it's very difficult. And I think it's one of those things that's not focused on enough, but very very helpful. And we can
Yeah.
definitely do a lesson on that in the future. For today, it'll be a little bit different, more just like on positional chess. But the theme of thinking about what the opponent wants to do definitely like it kind of always comes into play. Okay, so let me show you this game, and of course, this game I think will be really useful for chat as well.
Yay.
It's an older game, and do you see it from white side right now or from black side?
From blacks.
Okay, good. So playing black is this player Salo Floor, who was I don't know if you've heard of him. Maybe someone has heard his name, but he was quite strong in like the 30s and the 40s. So he was like a little bit before Fischer's time, but he was a very very strong player, probably top 10, maybe even higher. So, anyways, just for some context. So this game goes knight f3, and his opponent I'm not familiar with, but probably was decent player, at least master level. So knight f3, e6, c4, knight c6. We really won't worry too much about the opening here. It's not super relevant. And here black goes knight f6. And okay, just a tiny bit of theory, just because it's interesting. So here, if white went d4 for the open Sicilian, and black were to play a6, this is known as the con Sicilian. And if black were to go knight c6 followed by queen c7, nowadays this one is known as the Taimanov. At least most people consider it like this. And people always ask, like, what's the main difference between the Taimanov and the Khan Sicilian? Because in this opening, black is often playing a6 anyway, and in the Khan, sometimes black develops the knight to c6 anyway. So it's like, what exactly is the difference here? So one of the differences is that in the Khan, white can go for c4 and play this like Maratsi bind structure, which is considered pretty critical. But in the Taimanov move order when black plays knight c6, c4, and knight f6. So here we transpose to our game. With black having this move in instead of a6, here white actually doesn't have such a great way to hold on to the Maratsi bind, because for example, after knight c3, black is already ready to play bishop to b4. And now white doesn't have a great way of defending the e-pawn, because you don't really want to go f3 as white. And very specifically, you can't go bishop d3 because the knight on d4 is hanging. So this is the main difference. If you imagine black had the pawn on a6 still, then white has moves like bishop d3, white has like queen d3 move. Here queen d3 runs into knight e5, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So white is kind of obliged to trade on c6 here, and then usually black takes, white goes bishop d3, and here black is considered fine because they get to strike back with e5 in the center. They take some dark squares, and then they can open up the light square bishop with d6 next, and they're doing all right. Any questions on that so far?
Nope. Nope, no questions.
Okay. Oh, wait. Did we lose your... Oh, one sec.
Huh? Oh.
I lost your camera. All right, we're back. Now, so in the game, through slightly different move order, we essentially reached the same position where now knight c3 would be met with bishop to b4. So for this reason, white decided to just take on c6 in this position, which normally isn't considered so good in the Sicilian because you're kind of helping black capture towards the center. Although in this case, black actually went d takes c6, and then the two players, they go for the endgame. So takes, king takes d8. Okay, let me ask you here. It's white's turn. E4 pawn is hanging. How would you defend this one?
Well, we have knight c3, bishop d3, f3, knight d2, I think are the, or e5, I guess. I mean, knight c3 met with bishop e4. Mm.
Oh, in chat, you can also answer, of course. I'm curious what you guys will think.
F3 seems nice in theory, but like, I don't know, bishop c5, and I'm like, I don't know about f3. E5, I think, is maybe like over extending a little bit. There's not really good ways to defend that guy. I mean, knight d2 just blocks in the bishop. Knight c3, bishop b4, bishop d2. Then you lose a pawn anyway, so let's not do that. I don't know. Bishop d3 looks okay, like it's developing a piece. I'm not really sure where else it's going at the moment. I've never really played with c4 and e4 pawns, but yeah, maybe bishop d3
Okay.
just by process of elimination.
Yeah, fair enough. I was just curious what your instinct is. In the game, white played f3. And white, again, is a decent player, so I don't think f3 is necessarily a horrible move or anything. But let me ask you, let's say you played f3 here in this position as white. How would you play then as black? What would you do from black side? And we can flip it just so we can put it on the board.
I mean, my thought is bishop c5, just to prevent castling. I mean, yeah. Prevent castling, and although it's not really relevant anymore, I guess maybe, since there's no queens.
Okay, bishop c5, fair enough. And then, like, if you can imagine, where are the rest of black's pieces going? So I'll make one here.
I guess the light squared bishop is a problem, so maybe we would want to play e5, actually, at some point, and bring the the bishop to e6 maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say this is the main problem, the bishop on c8, because it's blocked in. Your Darkshire bishop, of course, has many, many good squares now and good diagonals, but e5 is like this key idea for black. And in fact, in the game, he just played it right away, just to make sure that he gets this move in. And now white's structure is actually worse. Even though white has, like, it seems like white has more space, the problem is black is controlling the d4 square and black is controlling the d5 square, whereas white does not control the d4 square. So now this one is kind of
So
like a long-term outpost for black.
was e5 a better move there then instead of f3?
Exactly.
Okay.
Although I totally agree with your intuition that it looks overextending. This would also be my kind of first instinct. But because black is basically better if they get e5 in, white kind of has to do it. And in fact, white can hold on to the pawn if they're just willing to play f4. So like knight d7, for example, f4.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, but I guess the light squared bishop is just so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy position to evaluate. Like I was thinking about this one. But one interesting thing is like even though black has this beautiful square on c5, only one of their pieces can use it. Like if the bishop is there, then the knight on d7 is going to be bad. And if the knight goes to c5, then the bishop is going to be kind of more passive, like on e7. But either way, this bishop on c8 is stuck. And if black manages to
Yeah.
play c5, b6, and bishop b7, then neither piece can use the c5 square.
Right, I see.
So black is like really lacking space here. I would say white is only like a tiny bit better. But the main point is that if white didn't do this, black kind of takes over, as we'll see in the game, because he gets e5. So that's why it's kind of like a very interesting, very important, let's say, strategic moment. So I was
That's really
asking
cool.
about knight g4 and let's say bishop c5. So on knight g4, I'm not sure we would have to play f4. Maybe bishop f4 here makes sense, and then we could go like bishop g3. Not sure if this would be best for white, but my idea here would be to kick the knight with h3, and then if once the knight has to go back, then I think white would be able to develop like knight c3, knight e4, castle queenside. And yeah, long term, white can really use this d file to their benefit. I'm not sure if this is best, but I think that would be kind of my gut reaction. Okay, so f3, e5, and now white goes. Let me get back to the game. Bishop e3. Now, okay, black has a lot of reasonable moves here. He decides to start with king c7, which I would say is maybe the most flexible move. Would you be able to explain why?
Um, I mean, you're connecting the rooks now. But I guess it's like why that over developing the bishop, right?
Yeah, let's say over
Um,
bishop e6 or some other move.
the most flexible. I mean, maybe it's not so clear. Like, it's pretty clear that the king should go to c7, like for sure. But the other bishops, maybe it's not so clear where they're going yet. So,
Exactly.
like, it's good to wait just a bit longer to see if there's some more clarity.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, probably this bishop is going to e6. So, okay, you could have started with bishop e6, but like the king
Yeah.
100% wants to be on c7 in this position. It's
Hmm.
beautifully covered by the c6 pawn, so there's no knight c3 and knight checks. And yeah, eventually you connect rooks. And so, okay, it's very likely we're going to play bishop e6 next anyway, but it's kind of like a nice, again, nice subtle moment where it's like, yeah, this is like 100% a move I'm going to have to make. Let me start with it, and then we'll see where the rest of the pieces go. Okay, now white played a3. And nice move here from black. He goes knight d7.
Why did white play a3 over like developing any of the pieces?
Great question. What do you think is
Is it just
White's
like
idea?
just kind of, I don't know, B4, B5?
Yeah, definitely. He wants to go b4 and then maybe c5 to restrict black, which is a shaky idea because as soon as white goes b4, of course, black can hit them with a5. So white needs
Right.
to watch out for this, but he prepares b4. He also maybe stops bishop b4 check. Maybe he was a little bit annoyed by knight c3, bishop b4. I'm not sure. I don't think he should be because actually, I think even if I think white should just allow this trade. If black wanted to give up the dark square bishop, I think white would be happy with that. Um,
Even with the like double isolated C pawns?
yeah, just because like the dark square bishop would become a lot stronger. So I actually think that position would be probably close to equal. Like white's pawns are weaker, but at the same time, they do have a nice bishop.
Huh, okay.
So I don't know. A lot of
They have the
times,
bishop pair. Okay.
I'm not sure actually. Now that I don't know. I probably would want to take black if I had to pick a side here. But I'm more used to like I like playing against the structure. I'm not. So, but I don't know. Maybe white goes like okay, you go here. White goes c5, and then it's like, yeah, it's not that easy actually for black to go after these pawns.
Right.
I'm not sure. Of course, white could also play rook c1 and not really worry about it. Followed
Okay.
by a3, and then black definitely wouldn't want to give up the bishop. So my guess is white wanted to play b4.
Okay. And then why is the plan like B4 C5 versus like B4 B5 in theory?
So like b4 c5, I'd say kind of does better for white's pieces. So it restricts black's pieces a little bit more. And then the knight on d2 can come to like c4, which would be a dream square.
Okay.
Whereas if white goes like b4 and b5, then they're giving up the c5 square. And black
Got it.
can definitely use that one.
So the C5 square is like okay, because we talked about it earlier, it's like the C5 square is good to use for black, whether it's the knight or the bishop. Okay.
Yeah,
Understood.
absolutely. Um, so black goes knight d7, which I really like this move. I think a lot of players would just go a5 here because they just think, okay, my opponent wants to go b4, let me go a5.
Yeah.
And a5 is not, I don't think it's a bad move, actually. I think it's very, very good move strategically. It kind of fits into black's plan. But it's just not necessary because knight d7, if white goes b4 here, well, then black goes a5. And because white's rooks aren't connected, white's not ready to deal with
Right.
this pressure. So they would have to maybe push b5, but now they're overextended. They give up the c5 square, and black is very happy here.
Got it. Okay.
So knight d7, and here white goes knight d2. I think he should have developed the knight to c3. I'm not sure why he didn't. Well, okay, probably he felt the knight was restricted by the pawn, which is true, but the knight on d2 isn't exactly active either if it can't go anywhere from here. Okay, so now black would like to play bishop c5, but then how do you think white would react to this?
I mean, my first thought is taking and then B4,
Good, exactly.
C5.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, most likely, yeah, they would take and then probably push b4, kind of get their strategic plan going. c5, and then, okay, black has a d4 square, but white also has c4 square. And on a5, now white's in time. Okay, black is still doing great here, but at least white is in time. Maybe could play knight b3 to defend the rook, or rook to b1. White isn't getting destroyed. In the previous position, the knight was on b1, so the rook, wasn't able to get out of the way. Okay. So now b4 is coming. So what move should black play here?
I mean, A5 is still an option. Um, is so you say B4 is coming, so there's probably something I should be doing about B4. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you mentioned one way to stop it.
Yeah.
A5.
I mean, yeah.
And it's like, okay, on the previous move, it was not necessary to play this, but now black needs it because otherwise b4 is happening. And white can't really stop bishop c5 anyway. And okay, for the audience, black wants to go bishop c5 because black would like to trade off white's good bishop and leave white with this bad bishop on f1, which is restricted by all the pawns. So ideally, black would trade off pretty much every piece except this light squared bishop. And then black would have a dream endgame, either bishop versus bishop or knight versus bishop, maybe even better. But either way, black kind of wants to trade everything off except for this bad piece. Okay, bishop e2. Now black could have played bishop c5 here, but he decides to fix the pawns with a4, which I think is a nice move. Because now this one is, these two pawns are like, we call them artificially isolated. Because now they can't connect and they're both kind of weak. So maybe white should have played b3. Question?
Nope.
Sorry, did you have did you have a question?
Oh, no, 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 no.
Okay.
I didn't. I'm good.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
cool. No
Sorry.
worries. All good. Please stop me if you do.
Okay.
So a4. Now white goes bishop e2. King f2. And bishop c5. And white takes. And now knight takes. And now black is kind of achieving like dream endgame here because they have the better pieces. Knight on c5 is much better than this knight on d2. The light squared bishop is better. And the rooks are also going to be better because they're going to get to the d file first. And white doesn't have an obvious square for this knight on d2. So this kind of shows why the knight would be better on c3. If we had the same position, but white's knight was on c3, at least white could challenge for the d file, try to trade rooks, maybe hold a draw. Black does have this a pawn, which can also be a potential target in the future because it's on the light square. But here with black's rooks coming to the d file, white's just going to have no time to go after this one. So rook c1, bishop e6, rook d1, rook d8, and king e3. So far, very normal moves. Now, how would you continue here as black?
For some reason, my first thought was like F5, but then I'm like, I don't know. I don't think we want to take and allow the knight to go to E4, so yeah. I don't know. I don't like that after all. Uh, I mean, we could just like double the rooks. Just keep pressure and the knight on D2, like, I mean, I guess it's going to F1 or something. Um, but even like rook D4, knight F1, rook D8 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then our rook is better. But then I don't know. The other rook can just come in and challenge it anyway. But I guess ideally we would want to trade off everything, as you said earlier, because the bishop is bad. So maybe it's okay. And the rook on a8 isn't really doing too much to defend the pawn on a4. It's like not really a problem right now. So yeah, maybe just doubling the rooks.
Good. Sam Sweet says I'd blitz out rook d6.
Oh, hello, Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. In the game, rook d7 was played, but this is the right idea. I think rook d4, maybe he didn't want, because I would blitz out rook d4 in this if I had to blitz at him.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It's like an outpost. But I think what he didn't like was, I don't think he didn't want to allow f4. Which if
and then
black's
there's a problem. Yeah.
yeah, if black's rook was on d7, then black would just take and white would have another weakness. But here, of course, we can't take. We have to play f6. Black is still better here, but I think he just didn't want to give white this option where, yeah, now maybe there's like some knight f3 in the future. You never know. So rook d7. And in general, like the way black wants to play this kind of position, because let's say black is slightly better, small strategic advantage, this is not the kind of position where black really needs to rush. Generally, it's like you want to just improve your position move by move. And yeah, you don't really need to look for any kind of like winning tactics or anything, because it's really just a matter of like improving your position, putting a little bit more pressure on white, trying to accumulate these positional advantages. Like now we have like better pieces and this fixed structure, and then slowly try to like steer your way into an endgame with, it doesn't have to be an endgame that's like, oh, I have to win this. It's more just about whether you make progress or not. So I'll share with you, this was a lesson that Jakob Agard gave at the camp a few months ago. He was talking about how, yeah, a lot of times it's like you don't have to see exactly how you're going to break through if you're slightly better. You just need to see a way to improve your position. And you just have to bank on the fact that like chess is a logical game. If you keep improving your stuff, unless the opponent just defends absolutely brilliantly, eventually you will be able to find some breakthrough. So you don't have to like, a lot of players, they're like, okay, I don't know how to like win this position, but there is no win. It's just, you just have to kind of like keep improving until your advantage grows and grows. And then eventually maybe it becomes decisive.
Yeah, I've definitely made that mistake before, like taking too much time because I'm like, I have to be better here, but can't find anything when it's like, there probably isn't anything anyway.
And that's kind of like the drawback. So I would say you're maybe more on like the concrete side, like you're very tactical and you spot tactics. But yeah, in this kind of position, there might not be tactics, like if white just plays perfectly. So yeah, you definitely have to actually play a little bit faster. Now, I don't think I saw times in your games, but I think I saw some notes where you're like in time trouble. Did you generally have an issue with spending too much time?
I think so. I mean, it was 75 minutes, so it was a bit less. But every single game I finished like with 2 minutes or something. So, but they were all like, yeah, I don't know. I was pretty much always down on time compared to my opponent.
Okay, so yeah, that's one thing where you might reflect on in the future. It's like positions that are not tactical. You generally want to play them on the faster side, so you kind of save yourself time for when things do get complicated. So for a lot of these decisions, like e5 and knight d7 and a5, I would hope that they don't take like more than a few minutes per move to kind of like try to understand the position and understand what you have to do. But yeah, none of these moves should be like super deep tanks.
Right.
Okay, so rook d7, white played g3. And I think there was a nice detail here where if white played knight f1, which was the most logical move, the move you mentioned, like white's probably going to go knight f1. I don't know what black would have done, but maybe his plan was to go rook d4 here, which is really clever because now you can't go f4 anymore because the rook takes e4 check.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't take twice on d4 because of knight b3.
Knight b3, yeah.
So nice little nuance. And okay, that brings up another very important point, is that slightly contradictory to what I just said. Chess is a difficult game. You often do have to find like these little tactical details to justify your positional moves. And this is an issue many players have. They have an endgame, they're slightly better, and then they kind of stop looking for tactics. So they don't even consider the move rook d4 because it's like, oh, it just drops a pawn. They just don't even doesn't even occur to them to look at the move. Um, but it's very important to like always be on the eye out for these like little details that can justify more positional decisions.
Cool.
Okay, so white went g3. And here black continues. I think he doubled up. And here white goes f4. And now another interesting moment. Okay, let me throw it to you again. How would you react to this one?
Hmm. I've been sick the past few days and I was like fine coughing, and then as soon as you started the lesson, now I'm like coughing all the time.
Oh, no.
So I apologize for that.
No, it's all good. All good.
Um, okay. Well, I remember last time we wanted to take it a few moves ago. Let's see. Hmm. I mean, we either take or we play f6. I feel like those are really the only real options here, unless there's some tactical thing. Um, I feel like taking, huh. Taking feels better than playing f6, but uh, I don't know. For some reason, my first thought is like taking and then playing like bishop h3 or something, which doesn't really make sense. I feel like you should play like bishop f1, and then it's what are you doing?
Wait, you wanted
Uh,
to take and go bishop h3?
yeah. But then they just play bishop f1, so and then I don't know after that.
But what's your idea with this move?
Just to I don't know, f5 is coming.
Oh, okay, so you want to go f5 next. I wasn't
I'm
sure
just
if you
no, I
want
mean
like
white.
bishop
I thought
g2.
white was gonna play f5,
Oh, you're just trying to save the bishop.
but yeah, I guess so. I don't know,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
but
Um,
I don't really like it. Yeah, I don't know.
okay, that makes sense. As bishop f1 here, I think this is just the blunder for white. Um,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because of yeah. Okay,
sake. But
because the piece is falling.
yeah. Feel free to think about it longer. It's not necessarily. It's not necessarily just simple decision. That's the trouble with teaching. Whenever like you show a game, it's like a positional game. Everyone starts looking for like positional moves. Sam says he'd blitz out f6, which is fine. But I do want to give you a chance to like really think about different options here.
Okay. Well, f6 then, like takes. Maybe the e4 pawn is weak, so there's some isolation there, and then, but then you can also play f5, which makes the bishop probably worse. But f6, f5, bishop g8, then your bishop's also like not amazing, although I guess it is still eyeing c4. I did see someone in the comments say take and play knight d3, which looks interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
The king can also no. Can yeah. Take 93 looks pretty interesting for sure.
Yeah, what do you think white would do there?
I mean, one option is I mean, we don't want to let them get rid of the bad bishop, right? I'm assuming they would just take it and play king e2 or something.
And then
Then
black to
then
play.
I'm not really sure. Takes. There?
Yeah. You got to visualize the position. So knight d3 takes, rook takes, king e2, and then black to move and win.
Well, there's two pieces defending the knight on d2, so we can't take the knight on d2. Uh, Bishop takes c4, rook takes is the same problem. Uh, oh, bishop g4.
Bishop
Yeah.
g4.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
knight d3. Okay, with or without taking, let's say. White can't accept because this is
It's
just
a bishop
game
g4.
over.
Yeah.
But white could go with or without taking. Probably taking, so there's no f5. But here, let's say rook c2. And it's ugly, but white is still... I don't think there's like an immediate breakthrough here for black. Black is much better. For example, like a simple way to deal with f6 or f5 is to just play f6.
Just play f6, yeah.
And then here, if f5, then you're like extremely happy that you got this e5 square.
Yeah.
So I don't think white should do that. Maybe white should play like knight f3. And yeah, black is definitely still better here. I would say black is also better. Let's say if you just went f6, like normal move f6, totally fine. Black definitely has a nice advantage here. If white pushes f5, then just like bishop f7. And I would say this e-pawn is now just like massive weakness. Like you're putting the rook on d4 and yeah, the more of white's pawns that are fixed on light squares, the happier black generally is. And now you maybe have g6 break as well in the future. So this one I would say is not really a concern for black. The issue is more if white takes and then we recapture, then knight f3 and white's pieces start to get out. Now white is doing okay. In fact, the king is even a little better, so it's like white is fighting back. So, okay, actually here I know that there's one detail. Like here, computer shows you can play knight d3 in this position, which is a really nice little subtlety.
Yeah.
Because again, you can't take the knight, rook d3 and bishop g4 check, and the point is after rook
Knight
c2.
takes e5.
Take with the knight, yeah, beautifully. And
Nice.
oh, Beastie mentioned this in the chat. So yeah, this one I think is a very nice idea for black. Yeah, nice job, Beastie.
Nice.
Let's see. I got stuck. Here we go. But of course, you kind of have to see that when you play f6. Okay, if you say f6 and my idea is like fe5, knight d3, then 100% like very good solution for black. Because I think here black is straight up, not straight up winning, but like huge advantage now.
Really nice.
Yeah. Because this is a huge improvement compared to 2 moves ago. So we're happy there. Okay, so let me show you what he did, which I wasn't necessarily expecting you to find or anything. I just want to give you a chance to kind of think about the position, because like I feel like black's continuation, like it really makes an impression. So he takes on f4, gf, and before we go to the game, someone asked about rook takes d2, which actually is a very sensible idea because it's very forcing and you trade everything off and you get into one of these endgames that we kind of wanted, bishop versus bishop, where white is left with this bad bishop on e2. I think Compy says this one is like close to equal, but I would always take black here, like f6, and I would just take black. But yeah, maybe this isn't definitely not the easiest way to convert the position, and it might not even be winning, it might just be a draw with best play. So it's definitely a reasonable idea, but it just doesn't work out for black to liquidate in this way. But it is something that black is looking for to try to liquidate into one of these like nice endgames. Okay, so here's what Floor did. He takes and he slams rook d3 check.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Was that a candidate for you? Like, did it cross your mind at all?
No.
Oh,
Nope.
totally fine. I don't think anyone mentioned it in chat either. At least I didn't see. Um, but a beautiful move. We'll look through the complications, see how it works. But like the main reason this is impressive is because of course like the whole time black is playing like strategically, and now he finds like this very nice combination to pretty much win the game. So let's see his point. So bishop has to take, otherwise white's losing the knight. Rook takes d3. And now on king e2,
Bishop G4.
bishop g4, exactly. Actually, I think this was the game, so we'll come back to this one. But let's say white play king f2. What would be the follow-up here?
Well, we're down a piece, so we can't take on D2 and play knight B3, I feel like. So we have to... And we can't play knight B3 right now. Oh, we can play bishop G4 anyway.
Good. Bishop g4 anyway.
Yeah.
And white basically has to give back the exchange. Actually, this was the game, king f2, bishop g4. White has to give back the exchange. And we'll see the resulting endgame is quite nice for black. One detail is like if rook to g1, trying to get out, black takes on d2 with check and is able to save the rook, right? So if like, let's say king here, for example, then rook d3 check, and then black can save the bishop and or even go like here and maybe rook takes. So 2 pieces for the rook should be really nice. Even if black just goes h5, should just be totally winning. Oh, e4 is hanging here also with check. Yeah, so this is just completely over.
Yeah. Wow.
And if king e1, I'm trying to think what would be. I'm not sure if this is best, but like, for instance, black has this idea. And then check and here.
Nice, yeah.
So just all the tactics in black's favor. Maybe there's other good moves too. Rook takes b2. So if white to play king e2, actually this is just worse because then this just check. Black is just kind of up a tempo, and for example, some position like this, pretty hopeless for white just because now black has even more advantages and the rook is super active. Rook h3, for example. Black could have picked up this pawn as well. Let's say knight e4 and check, and then this rook endgame is probably pretty hopeless for white because they're down a pawn and another pawn is hanging. Everything is weak. So essentially, this is a combination to simplify. So as I said, some combinations to simplify are not necessarily bad, because in the resulting endgame, it's like rook and knight that are just absolutely dominant.
Right.
So white went e5. It's hard to suggest other moves. If white didn't do this, black was threatening, let's make a non-move. Black was threatening to already just go into the king and pawn endgame. Up a pawn and yeah, should be trivial win. So white went e5 to avoid losing this pawn. Black takes the rook, rook takes d1. And let me just play through the rest of the moves. What would you do here?
I don't know. My first thought was knight e4, but then king e2, but...
Yeah, actually, this is very possible. And
I don't know.
Okay, you're kind of committed to
trading, yeah.
Trading, yeah. You can go rook d4, but then like king e3 forces you.
Yeah.
So then the question would be if this is winning.
But we're not up a pawn anymore.
Hard to say exactly. Yeah, because we're not up the pawn. So So it might be, but yeah, it's really hard. Like you would have to calculate really far and be sure that you're
Yeah.
winning. And I wouldn't. My instinct actually wouldn't be that we're necessarily winning here. So it's a bit too early to liquidate like this. Sam would blitz out 85. Sam, this isn't a blitz lesson.
Every time I blitz out this, I'd blitz out. I mean, yeah. I'm basically saying the same thing if I'm saying like my first thought. Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive when it's like your first move is like the right move. It's always impressive. But it's also
Yeah.
impressive when your first thought isn't correct and you have to like work to get to it. You know, it's even more impressive when you have to like work to. I'm always much prouder of the moves that I like tanked 20 minutes on and found versus the moves that like, oh yeah, of course, this.
Yeah. Same.
Just kidding. Oh, someone asking about taking the knight. So yeah, if rook d2 here, it's the same as knight e4 check, essentially. So we'd get this king and pawn in game that maybe is not so easy. Definitely not so easy. Okay, so he goes another direction. He goes knight e6. Just hitting the pawn and asking white to extend even further. Because how do you defend this one? King e2, just knight f4.
Right.
So f5. There's nothing else. But now he comes in, knight d4. And just beautiful domination because like he covers e2 and white also has to like worry about knight b3 in every position. So king has to stay close. And now f5 is hanging and the rook, of course, is still tied down to the knight. So it's just like white has just no moves here. So white went f6.
Wait, sorry. If king e1, then
Yeah, what would you do?
is it just rook e3, rook e2 kind of thing? Wait, rook e3 and then
Let's say here.
yeah. Rook e2,
Where does white go?
maybe. Oh, g3 maybe? Yeah.
So do you really need this check?
No. Knight takes f5.
Yeah, you could take on f5, you could take on e5. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything. You could take on f5 here.
Yeah.
And now it's just Europe a pawn, and yeah, pieces are still very, very dominant. And okay, if white wants to trade rooks here, I think it'd be very, very worthwhile to trade rooks because like knight endgame's considered very similar to king and pawn endgame. So if you're up a pawn, generally in a knight endgame, you're generally going to have a really good winning chance. Okay, I'm blundering here, rook e3, my bad. Okay, if knight f1 or something, then yeah, definitely. Of course, you can keep your active rook, but it might just be simpler to just trade rooks and go after
Okay.
e-pawn.
Actually didn't know that about knight endgames. So it's good to know.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I
I didn't know that
mentioned
they
it.
were like pawn endgames.
They're very similar to king and pawn in games. The reason for that is like the knights, a lot of times they have a tendency to trade. Like they're both fighting for the same square and either one knight has to give ground or they trade. And so what that means is if you're winning in the king and pawn endgame, you're always happy to trade knights. And so you can kind of dominate the knight endgame as well because the other knight has to run away from you. So it's a nice rule of thumb. No, just because bishops are much more flexible. Now they do have they do have winning tendencies. So like, if there's one key diagonal and you're the one that is happy to trade bishops and your opponent cannot, then yeah, it's like you'll probably dominate that endgame too because you can like take all the important diagonals. You can always offer bishop trades. But generally, yeah, like bishops have more flexibility, and I think in general, like knight endgames are considered like more winning than same color bishop endgames. Oh, lost your camera. All right, thank you. Yes, go ahead. Talk to chat. Chat, we got like 10 minutes left. So if you guys have any questions on anything discussed so far, Please send them in. Oh, Sam won in the knight endgame. Yeah, I would say in terms of like endgames that are winning, generally it's like opposite color bishop endgames are the least winning when you're up a pawn. And then it's rook endgames and queen endgames, also considered like pretty on the more kind of drawish side. I would say rook endgames are more drawish than queen endgames, because queen endgames are always tricky. There's always a lot of checks and stuff. And then you have same color bishop endgames and then knight endgames, which are generally more winning tendencies for the stronger side. And then king and pawn endgames are going to be the most winning. Sometimes they're just directly winning. Like you don't even have to outplay the opponent or convert. It's just they're just mathematically winning if you are up a pawn or have some advantage. Well, oh, by the way, I love your sign so much. The play ? Chess. I know I mentioned it. Oh, funny. Oh, sorry, I lost your audio. One sec, guys. I apologize.
Sam,
Okay,
when is your
should be
next
back.
tournament, by the way?
I'm actually playing in a couple days.
Okay.
U.S. Masters
Great.
in
Oh
Charlotte.
my gosh. Wow, congrats. Congrats.
Yeah. It's super
Yeah.
strong, but should be good. It'll be fun
Yeah.
tournament. Um, Rachel was just saying the sign behind her she brings to public places to invite people to play chess.
Yeah.
Whereas to me, it looks like something that like the Joker would have in his apartment if he was a chess. Just like, it's
Play
like,
chess, you walk in
yeah,
and it's like
question.
fucking horror movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Cool. Are you gonna have like commentators for your games? Like, or is Dojo gonna cover any of them or anything like that?
I'm not sure. I haven't really asked or planned. I think for this one, I might just play it normally. It's
Okay.
like 2 rounds
Yeah,
per
fair.
day, and
Ooh.
yeah, I'm not sure I want to deal
Is
with like the camera and stuff.
how or like the top seeds, how good are they?
Um,
Like,
I think there's some very good players. I mean, there's a couple players I think were like in the World Cup that are playing like some high
oh wow.
2600s. But just to
Oh,
yeah, just give people an insight. Like I'm seated like number 100 on the list.
wow.
So yeah, so the term is like really deep. There's like all these like 24, 25s. Oh, Chess Lover's
Wow.
saying 22700 players. Nice. Wow.
Wow. Nice.
Wait, but which ones? I
Okay,
don't
what?
remember the.
Yeah, what?
Oh, let me see.
Sam Shanklin, maybe? Sam Sevian, question
Maybe
mark? I don't
Sevian.
know. I don't know if they're like
Ah,
playing in the World Cup for so long, like if they're
Wonder and
gonna.
Sevian are playing. They're both 2700.
Wow,
And then
nice.
Zhang is playing. Oh, Donchenko is playing of World Cup
Isn't he
fame.
German?
Yeah.
How is he playing in the U.S. Masters then? Or
Oh, this is just the name of the tournament, but it's open to
oh,
everyone.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donchenko I know was very close. Uh,
Germans
I
are
think
allowed in the U.S. And how?
um yeah, and someone was saying in my stream yesterday, I don't know if you know about like Wei playing in the previous World Cup. I don't know. Someone was saying there was some stat about like he's lost like no games or something for many World Cups or something like that.
Oh,
I don't
interesting.
know how accurate it is. Yeah.
I haven't heard that, but yeah, I mean, Wei is yeah, incredible player. Um, okay, let's finish this real
Uh,
quick, and so I can
Okay.
run when I need to. um,
Go for it. Yeah.
so Black played 96. Let's find the class f5 knight d4. White played f6 to kind of hold on to the pawn. Black takes, pawn takes. But now this one is very loose, right?
Yeah.
With the king being able to come in. So that means it's time to liquidate.
Right. Okay. People here not here at the beginning of the stream just realizing it's your birthday.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yes, it's Kostya's birthday. You have to wish him happy birthday and gift lots of subs in Chess Dojo.
Thank you, folks. Thank you.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's been a great birthday so far. We got dinner coming up here in St. Louis with a few peeps. Everyone's out of town, which is sad, but there's a few people in town, which is so it'll still be cool.
Okay, so now the pawn is on f6, you liquidate and take it and win, basically.
Mm-hmm. So what would be most efficient way to do that?
Um, I'm gonna. Is there a way to like click out from the arrows and everything?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It's not. No, no, you're fine. But uh, my first thought is knight b3 because you can't take it because I take the rook and then you have to defend it and then you can take everything.
Exactly. And that's basically how the game ended. Knight b3 took, and white resigned because now, yeah, he's just losing this pawn, and it's pretty hopeless. He can maybe win the a4 pawn. Okay, black can go c5 if he wants to be cruel, but white is likely going to be way too slow here because he doesn't have a passer yet. So black is just much faster. But maybe this is the easier decision, just go c5, and then white isn't able to do anything. So, okay, that was the game. Just to recap what happened in this one. White went for this equal endgame out of the opening and allowed black to not only equalize, but actually kind of take over in the center with their like superior structure. And from here, black was able to kind of keep accumulating small advantages. Maybe this knight d7 move was very important to like control the c5 square. But then a5, he locks in e4. And white made a couple of mistakes, like minor mistakes. f3, he put the knight on d2 instead of c3, which would have allowed him to play rook d1 later and like challenge for the d file. And already here, it's like very, very difficult position for white. Black continues to build up, and then of course finds this like just really, really nice rook d3 combination, which I would say is like, it's really not that hard to calculate, right? It's just like one move, take, check,
Yeah.
and then you find bishop g4. It's probably not the hardest move. So it's pretty simple to see like you're going to win the exchange back. The difficulty is like one, coming up with the idea in the first place, just like finding rook d3 that it's possible. And number two, let's say evaluating the resulting endgame and realizing that actually black is really dominating. We traded off a couple pieces. We traded off white's bad bishop as well. But because white has so many weak pawns in the final endgame, then it's, just pretty much hopeless position. And then the finish was just very smooth. 96, 94, forcing more weaknesses, more extension, and of course the liquidation.
Luring the E and F pawns was classy, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. Any questions?
Cool. No, this is a great game to look at for me for sure.
Yeah, one of the greats. I think this is like nearly a perfect game from black's point of view, like strategically.
Yeah.
I can't even pinpoint one move I would change for black.
Wow.
In this game, like very, very clean game. Okay, so this is what I think I would encourage you to work on. Going forward, is on these more like strategic elements. So things like prophylaxis, thinking about what the opponent wants to do, structure, thinking about what kind of pieces you want to exchange, and then let's say following like positional rules during the game, which is not so easy. because it's like there's a lot of stuff you have to look at during the game. You have to think about your plan, you have to calculate, you have to think concretely, you have to look for the opponent's ideas. But yeah, you also have to think about like long-term strategic vision, like what are you trying to do? And then also, let's say short-term positional stuff, things like choosing between different moves, like which move is more flexible. And then the big one, of course, it's like a lot of times the way you choose one move over the other is like you just think about what the opponent is going to do in response to each. And that in many cases can clue you in, oh, this move is better because it gives less options, or it doesn't allow this, or etc. And yeah, it's really helpful. A lot of times it's like it's not even possible to find the best move without understanding like what the opponent's next move is going to be. So that would be the big thing I would really invite you
I
to
think
reflect on.
big like aha moment when I'm like looking through all the options and you're like, okay, where is Black's bishop going on c8? And I was like, oh yeah, we need to play e5. So I need to think like that more often.
Yeah, exactly. It's like as soon as you frame it in that way, you realize, oh, I have to play e5 from White's point of view, which is not a move we would want to play normally. It's like kind of extending, but
Yeah.
yeah, because it's like, oh, it really stops Black's plan, then yeah, we realize it's necessary.
Makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. I gotta run. You can keep streaming for a little bit.
Okay. No, I think I'm okay for today. Yeah.